Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Is your home in need of a refresh? I don't know about you, but I love reimagining and redesigning my space. If you're wanting to liven up your space and level up your decor, be sure to check out Arranger Paints on Etsy. The shop is full of beautiful paintings, many inspired by nature, and all sure to give your home a custom feel. The paintings also make great housewarming or birthday gifts. I've gifted paintings from the shop and have Arranger Paints artwork in my loft. As a special thank you for supporting the Health by Haven podcast, you can get 10% off your order with code HXH10. You can find the full collection of work at arrangerpaints.etsy.com or scroll down to the show notes for the link. I know you're going to love the artwork. Now for my conversation with Emilie. Emilie Blanchard is the founder and owner of Tastiest Fit in Columbia, South Carolina. She has a love of fresh, real food and is on a mission to show the world just how delicious plant-based food can be. She opened Tastiest Fit, a grab-and-go plant-based and gluten-free retail store in September of 2018. Tastiest Fit offers seasonal menus that are made in-house and rotate weekly. So Emilie, thanks so much for joining us on the Health by Haven podcast today. It's such a treat to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be here.
Yes. For those listeners who may not know you, who might not live in Columbia and haven't heard of Tastiest Fit, do you want to start by just filling in the gaps from the intro that I did? Tell us a little bit about yourself and about the business.
Yes, this is perfect because I just gave a talk last night to a women in business little organization. So it got my mind turning on this podcast. So yes, I can fill in all those blanks. It has been a while since I had thought about it. So honestly, just a little background on me. I was raised in Greenville, South Carolina, went to Georgia, University of Georgia in Athens. And then following graduation, like 2 weeks later, I moved to New York. And I spent 4.5 years there doing more broadcast journalism. I worked for a fashion company. I was the beauty of New York. You can do a million things. And on the side, I worked as an instructor at a megaformer studio called SLT. That's still there and thriving. And it was such an incredible time. And that's when I grew up playing sports, but it was really in that just chapter of my life where I started to see just really how impactful like food is on the body and on people's confidence and just endurance. So that was just a beautiful way to start this like wellness, I don't like the word journey, but I guess path I've been on. And so that was definitely the spark. And then at that time when I lived there, it was really when like plant-based was just coming on the scene, like smoothie bars were popping up on every corner. It was a really cool time to be there and just watch the shift happen in the health world. And so, fast forward, I meet my husband in New York, who's from Columbia, which is where I am now. And, we get engaged. I move back to Columbia. We get married. And I was actually looking to start an SLT.
No kidding.
In Columbia. So I was looking for studio spaces. I was literally ready to sign a dotted line because I loved it, still do, and was very passionate about it. Nothing was like quite fitting the bill. My sister was in college at the time at USC, which is in Columbia, and she was just over one night, and I was, I wasn't working because I was trying to get this off the ground. So I was just cooking all the time, and it was just like super therapeutic for me. I did it a lot in New York, and then like to have a kitchen and a dishwasher and like everything was so much. So I literally just did that in all my spare time. And so, I was just making all the recipes, and she was over one night and she was like, why don't you start an Instagram? Like that's a thing people do, a food Instagram. And I was like, what? I followed a few, but I was like, I'm not going to start a food Instagram. Like that's so weird. But I did, and I was private. And I remember just like thinking about names, and I wanted, because I thought I was starting this fitness studio, I wanted to incorporate food and fitness into it, like hence the name Tasty is Fit. Um, and so that's exactly how it started. I just started uploading these recipes on solely for a place for me to like keep track of them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually I went public, and a mom reached out, and she was like, "Hey, I see you're in Colombia making all of this delicious food. Would you like to cook for my family? I'd love to pay you." And I was like, "Sure, I'm not doing anything. Let's do it." So I would send her kind of what I was thinking. I'd drop it off on her doorstep. She'd leave a check under the mat. And anyway, about 3 weeks into that, she posted it on Instagram, and then a bunch of moms literally the next morning were in my inbox like, "Hey, do you have a meal prep program? Like, I would love to join." And I'm like laughing, like, "No, I don't have a meal prep program, but
Yeah.
sure, we can pretend like I do."
Yeah.
So that's truly how it all got started. That's how Tastiest Fit got started. I got up to like 20 families in my
Oh
kitchen.
man.
And, my husband and I was like, kind of was like, this is the path I think I want to do. I love it so much. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember swearing I would never be a retail store. I'd never be grab and go. I was like, that's too much. I'm just going to forever be meal prep. Well, but it's about, we find a building, it's already a renovated kitchen. It was such perfect godly timing. And I moved in, did like some aesthetic changes with my mom, who's an interior designer. And we were meal prep for like 6 to 9 months. And the demand just got so high. People would like forget to order by the date or whatever. And they're like, can you just, have a fridge where if you make extra stuff, great. And like let people know. So that's kind of what I started doing over Instagram, which is the sole advertising we'd ever done to grow our business. People would just kind of follow along. And anyway, I started to see the demand for grab and go because most are not planners and like, let me, order this many meals. And so it was just really nice for them to be able to pop in. So anyway, eventually there's a lot of stories within this chapter, but it just transformed into a grab and go. And that's where we are today, a full blown grab and go spot with, now we offer smoothies, wraps, salads, soups. We have a vegan soft serve. And yeah, here we are.
Oh, well, what a crazy story about how things just kind of like end up not exactly how you planned.
It was totally just, honestly, it was fate. The stars aligned.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And well, I know I messaged you this a while ago, but I used to live in Colombia for 5 years. I don't anymore, but every time I'm back in town, because I go back for work pretty often, I'm like, first stop, gotta grab my smoothie
Yeah,
after being on the road.
I
So
love that. We actually have a lot of people that travel through, and they'll bring like little coolers, and it's so cute.
yeah, yeah. Also, my dad's obsessed with your chia pudding, by the way.
I'm telling you, people will drive miles for that chia pudding.
Yeah,
It's so funny, but it is. I get it. It's so good. And when you
yeah.
make it in such bulk like we do, it just gets creamier and creamier and creamier, and it's just so good.
Yes, yes, amazing. Okay, well, thank you for giving us a background. I mean, I feel like there's a million directions I want to go from this, but how funny that you wanted to start a fitness studio. I had no idea. And
Yeah.
actually, I spent the summer in New York City, and so I did get to take a lot of SLT. So I'm with you on that, it's a
Oh my God.
workout.
It's such a good workout. And now we have a lot of Megaformer studios here, which is so incredible just to watch
Yeah,
the growth of this city in general. There was nothing here, and that was
yeah,
not that long ago. And so now,
yeah.
Columbia's really kind of taken a wellness turn, which has been really cool to be here for.
Yeah, very exciting. And I agree. Like, I taught Pure Barre. Well, I still do, but when I was in Colombia, I taught there. And it felt
Yeah.
like every week there was like another place popping up around the
Yes.
block. So,
And it's still doing that, which is great. I feel like the more people come and, want to stay here, which is always good for a city.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. So, you started by cooking for one family. And then tell us like what it was like when you woke up the next day after the mom shared on Instagram and was like, by the way,
Honestly,
now I have like a million DMs and how am I going to figure this out? And like, something that you hadn't done before, kind of faking it till you make it with a meal service prep or meal prep service. Like, what was that like in the moment?
I mean, it was really exhilarating because I was like, oh, like I'm on to something. This is a need for people. And genuinely love to cook. And I was in a really experimental phase and didn't have kids. I had so much time on my hands. I just really put my head down. But I remember getting those emails just like giddy, like, oh my gosh, other people want this. And like, I love it. And it was the first time I'd ever been like in control of my own schedule. And,
Mm-hmm.
I was the only person to turn to for the work. And I like oddly love that. I think that's why I still am an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was exciting, but obviously all of the imposter syndrome things like, can I do this? Like, what if they hate it? Like, but I don't know. There are so many little iterations of like, I had people bring containers to my door. And then the plastic ones, I was like, never mind, let's everyone get glass containers. But then they would like shatter if someone dropped them too, hard on. So there's just so many different things that we went through to like get to kind of where we are.
Yeah.
When I eventually moved to a storefront, we changed all those containers to like what we had. So it was just, so many different just iterations of that meal prep service. But yeah, I mean, we grew to like 20 families. So it was so funny. I'll never forget Tuesday between 5 and 7, people would pick up all their meals that they had ordered. And, something went wrong every single week where I was just like true chef style of, sweat, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pull this off by myself?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember one time I like literally sliced my thumb in half and
Oh my
like had
gosh.
to go straight to the doctor, and they like had to sew it up and wrap it up. And I was like, well, I have to finish. I mean, like these people are picking up their food. So I was like calling everyone, like, you have to come help me chop. I'll tell you exactly what to do. And you always figure it out. You always make it happen. And it's like just cool stories to look back on of like how dedicated you were to the mission, even though it was so small at the time. I just, to me, it was a really big deal.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, what a mind of an entrepreneur. Like, it doesn't matter if I chop my thumb in half. Like, I have to get this
Yeah,
done.
it's like, I'll call people. We will figure this out.
Yeah, yeah. So at that time, I mean, that sounds so overwhelming. I know there's going to be people listening who are like, oh my gosh, I can barely cook for my one family. Like, how are you cooking for 20 families? Did you have any
No,
help at that time?
no, like if I ever got really overwhelmed, my sister who was in college, she's an amazing cook. And I would be like, please, can you come? And she would always come, like whether it was even just like helping me assemble them. Because yeah, I mean, it was a lot, but I would start on Sunday morning. I would wake up so early and like write a grocery list. And I would be the first one at the grocery store. I really kept my head down during that time because I just knew I was onto something, and it's just my personality. I was like, I'm going to do it full force, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to let anything get in my way. And so I would just stay at home all day, every day. And then by Tuesday night at 5, I would kind of chop, prep everything on Monday, and then I would cook and assemble everything on Tuesday. So then by Tuesday night, people would pick it up, and I don't know. I just always figured it out. I always got it done. And then, you get in a rhythm, how long everything
Yeah.
takes. It's just like anything in life, practice helps. And so by the 20 families, I'd obviously, I didn't go from 0 to 20. So that is
Yeah.
always helpful. It's just like continuing to put one foot in front of the other and learn and figure out your processes and your systems. And yeah, it's all out of a tiny little kitchen. We made it work. It
Yeah. Yeah. So fun to like look back, I'm sure, to where you
really is.
started
It
versus
really is.
now.
It really is. It's crazy to look back on.
Yeah. So, do you have a similar system, just larger scale, as far as like how did you decide what meals you were going to cook each week? Where do you get your recipe inspiration from, and taking it from, I guess, the scale of 20 families to now in your storefront?
Yeah. So, you know, it's so funny because I mean, every recipe that we've ever made is mine. And so that did help. I was constantly creating recipes, so I knew them inside and out. So that really did help. Where it got tricky was, yes, when we moved into like a full-blown building and we had people ordering from like the whole city, not just, the people on my email chain. But I recruited from USC interns from the hospitality program that needed hours. So that was so
Hmm,
helpful.
yeah.
When we started, I had like 5 or 6 interns, and then we would just rotate teams. And it was so amazing to have that help. But a lot of them like didn't know how to cook. So I was kind of like teaching them like, if you just chop everything, like I will do all the cooking. So I kind of did everything for probably 4 years. And I was super just like, hands on. And then once we switched to grab and go, I remember it was when I got pregnant with my first child, my first baby, Harper, who's now 3, about to turn 4. I remember being like, okay, I have got to get like a real team. I've got to get like my first real full blown employee. And so having something like that, like a deadline, really forced me to like let go reins a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's just, where it's not meal prep anymore. It is super similar in like the offerings. It's all my recipes. We rotate menus. We keep it seasonal. And now the chef who's been with me for so long has like full reign over the kitchen. And I'm just constantly testing new recipes. And we're then trying to figure out how to translate them to a grab and go fridge. And now we have a full blown team, which is just insane. And they are truly a well-oiled like machine. They're so incredible at what they do. It's a very customer facing business. Like if you've been in the store, so
Mm-hmm.
everything is made out in the open, which I love. It's kind of like our concept.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like what you see is what you get,
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
not hiding anything or buying anything and selling it. It's just all made right there, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it is cool for people who haven't been in there. You like walk in, and I mean, the counter's there. You can grab stuff out of the fridge, but yeah, you're right. You can see like the whole kind of
Oh
assembly
yeah,
line of
that's
the
it. There's
cooking and
like
the
no back
chopping.
kitchen. That's the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you find the chef that's working for you now?
He actually came to me. This was years ago, and he started incredibly part time. So it was when I was still doing everything, and he would just come help me on Sundays, like chop everything. And he's an incredible chopper. He had like a food truck business, and he's very talented. And he would just kind of started like that. So it just trickled to where he would like learn the recipes. And then when he eventually wanted to come on full time, someone else had already taken the kitchen position, the chef position. And then when she moved to DC, he was just like, it was like perfect timing for him
Yeah.
to take that full time role. And then since then, he's just been full force, strong. He's such an incredible just foundation of our store. So that is, as an owner, there's like nothing more you could ask for.
Yeah. Taking a quick break from today's episode to talk all about marketing. Do you struggle to build a community on social media? Do you post day after day without seeing a return on your investment? Or maybe you don't even know what to post at all. Well, what if I told you I know something, or someone rather, that could help? Seamly and Spruce Creative Co. has helped countless small businesses and entrepreneurs grow their online presences and brands with the help of expertly written and customized social strategies. They can help you dial in your target market, expand your reach, boost your engagement, and have clarity around what to post on your social media page. With an extensive portfolio of proven success with their clients, you know you can trust them with your investment. If you want to learn more, follow Seamly and Spruce Creative Co. on Instagram for tons of free tips and tricks, and use the link in their bio for a free discovery call to help you get on track. You can even hear from their founder in episode 10 of this podcast. Now back to the show. How did it feel like when you started having those interns and chefs and things like that, like releasing, I mean, probably what felt like your first baby a little bit before your real babies?
I mean, I would think if, we would ask them, I think at first it was probably really hard. I definitely did micromanage a lot. Like you said, it was like a baby. I was like releasing someone else into the world to do what I did every day. But I was at such a comfortable point and had put so much work into like the training and like, they knew exactly how I liked everything and how I mean, they take as much pride in it as I do, which is incredible. So yeah, at first really hard, but I think since it was such a ladder effect of like having one baby, then having two babies, now I'm pregnant with a third baby, like, it's just all been a very, I don't know, just like stepping stones, baby steps. And that's been really helpful for me and
Yeah,
my control.
definitely. I think it would be hard for anyone.
Yes.
So, as far as like, I know all the recipes are ones that you've created and rotating through them. Like, when you're like, I want to make a new XYZ salad, bowl, wrap, whatever, where are you drawing inspiration from?
I would say mostly Instagram and Pinterest. I mean, I'm constantly looking at those things and cookbooks. Like I love cookbooks. So I'm just constantly looking at things, bookmarking things, saving things. It's kind of a problem. I love to like look at everything. And then I like to figure out, okay, how can I make this like my own, you know? I like to document and save a lot of things that are not plant-based. And then just like, you know, in my brain, be like, how could I make that
Mm-hmm.
plant-based or, you know, whatever that process is in my head, crazy creative head. But and then I just start testing and then I really just get on things. I'm like, okay, I want to do that. And then after I nail that, I'm like, okay, I want to do that. So I just have like this long running list that I try to work my way towards, and it's never ending. So I'll probably never get through everything, and you know, seasonally it changes. I'll be on something, and then if it starts to get a little cooler, I'm like, never mind, I don't want to do that anymore. It's so funny. It really does. It's kind of like songwriting. I feel like how they say, just like when it hits, and then you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, you're locked in. You're like, I want to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh, I can relate to that so much. I mean, I do not have a grab and go storefront by any means, but I love like creating my own recipes, and you do kind of get like ebbs and flow of creativity and
Totally. Sometimes it's not.
um yeah. Yeah. And I'm vegetarian as well, and like mostly plant-based. And so it is fun too because my husband is not. And so it's fun to like try to figure out how to like either healthify or maybe plantify, you know, some recipes that we'll then both enjoy.
100%. And it is so interesting because within like probably the past, see, when was Bo born? Probably the past two, he's two, I'll be three in December. I slowly started incorporating like animal products back into my diet. So that's been an interesting shift too, in like what I test and because I still believe in, you know, I will forever believe in a variety of plants in your diet is just always an incredible benefit. Like no matter what diet you're on or what,
Hmm.
or what way you eat, you know, I just think there's no way to deny the power of plants. And so we're
Hmm.
very plant forward family, but I have in the past 2 to 3 years after having two babies back to back, started incorporating it back in. So that's been a really fun journey for me too, just health wise, and also seeing what that does for my body, and also, you know, in testing recipes and stuff too. So it's
Hmm.
been really fun.
Hmm. Okay, so I know like the cooking is what got you into it, and the recipes are probably still like what fires you up. But I have to imagine owning a business, there's like a lot more that goes into it that a lot of people don't see. So maybe tell us a little bit more about that, the behind the scenes.
Yes, no, there's so much. I mean, kind of what I was telling these girls last night. It's when you start something really in the starting chapter of everything, like you're it. You are the person to call. You have no one to pick up the phone and be like, you know, this has gone bad. Like what do we do? What, you know, and especially for the concept that when I was starting, there was like no one at the time, like kind of doing that, you know, with the meal prep, we were kind of like one of the only meal preps. And then with the grab and go, I was just like, who do I turn to? So I think that was a really challenging piece of growing a business, is like when it's you, you're the, you know, you're the plumber, you're the custodian, you're the face of it. You're also the person dealing with customer service. You're the cook. You're literally wearing so many different hats, which
Hmm.
is also, you know, on the flip side, one of the best things you can do for yourself, because then as you do grow and you do have a team, then you're teaching and you're training. You've been in those shoes. You know exactly what they're going through, even on the hard days. So I think, you know, it's one of the hardest, but also biggest blessings in starting a business is all the stuff, is all the failure, is all the mistakes. It's all of that that you learn from, so that when you are, you know, the boss to a team, they do have a phone to pick up and call, like, what do we do? You kind of know, you know, if you don't know those answers, you know how to get there. So yeah, I would think that's probably, it's not glamorous at all, but you know, at the same time, it's so rewarding.
Yeah. Are there any other businesses now, or maybe like entrepreneurs in a different industry that you know that you can like bounce things off of? I mean, it does sound like overwhelming when it's like you just got to figure it out.
Totally. And yes, there are so many people here, and just like via Instagram, people I've met, people who have asked questions. So, you know, that platform, where it does have its downfalls, it's such an incredible networking platform to chat with people, to reach out, to ask questions. You know, we found our vegan soft serve, you know, kind of in California where it was being sold. And I was like, and I would have never known that without social media, but I was like, not going to give it up. I was like, I have to get this soft serve here
Yeah.
because there was nothing like it that I could source here. So, yeah, no, I feel like network wise now it's just so different. It's a different ball game with when I started, Instagram and just social media in general has changed so much in the past 7 years, probably in the past 3 to 4 being the biggest changes. So, it's a different game now. You have more access to mentorship and stuff. So I don't think when you're starting now, but yeah, you still have to find those people. I mean, that's no small feat. So
Yeah. And then for people listening who maybe have kids or jobs or things that they're balancing as well, and they're trying to cook healthy meals for their family. I know you mentioned you have two littles with a third on the way.
yeah,
So, how do you maybe separate from the business? Like, of course, you're balancing family and business, but how are you at home? Like, figuring out the tips and tricks to be able to cook those healthy meals for your family and maybe like some of your go-tos if people are looking for that.
yeah, no. And I always say it's so, people are always like, how do you make that all for your family? How do you make the lunch? And I'm like, but you have to remember, it is my job. Like I'm always in the kitchen. So it's easy when I'm testing a recipe. I mean, let me rephrase that. It is never easy to keep your family nourished with food. I mean, it's a lot of work. It really is. It's a lot of organization. And I do it for a living. But when I'm testing a recipe, I'm chopping something for dinner. It's just completely, I'm in the kitchen. So it's a lot easier for me. So I never like anyone to compare what I'm doing in the kitchen because there's something else that I'm not doing well that they're probably doing really well. But as far as like our easy go-tos, I love doing like taco night, which like my husband and I will make like a beautiful large salad. And I'll like roll theirs up in a taco and sauteed veggies. And, that's such an amazing, easy meal. Guac if you have time, sliced avocado if not. That's one of our big go-tos. My kids have honestly really loved soups recently, and I'll put like noodles in it, and they love to like eat the noodles out of broth. So that's something we all enjoy together because I love soup, and I'll just throw some noodles in there for them, and they love it. I make quesadillas a lot for them. They love that. And then like I'll batch make like pesto and freeze it, and I'll make like a pesto pasta. There's just so many different little tips and tricks. This morning I rolled them this like veggie sushi and I just keep chopped veggies in the fridge. I layered the tortilla with like hummus and this like raw cheese I buy them and did carrots and cucumber and I roll it up and slice it and send it in their lunchbox and they love it. So
Yeah.
it is kind of just finding I think your own balance of what it means to you to nurse your family and taking the time to like plan it out. That's probably where people get lost. It's like overwhelming if you're not certain in the kitchen. And I completely get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, the planning it out helps so much. I mean, I do that. Just me and my husband will sit down every Friday and be like, okay, what are the meals we're going to have for like the next week?
So helpful.
And it takes out so many decisions in your week because I
Oh,
don't know about you, but by the end of the day, my brain is like, no more decisions,
oh my God.
please.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Like I'm just, okay, what it's in the fridge, we're just going to whip something up.
Right.
I totally agree. But that's, yes, if you have the time to plan it out, like it's a game changer.
Right. Okay, so we've talked so much about like healthy food, but for somebody who maybe is wanting to start their own business and they're nervous about where to get started, what would some advice be, whether it's in the food or health industry or not?
Yeah, people ask me that all the time. And I think one of the best pieces of advice I heard on actually a podcast, and I was like, that is so true. It's if you have something that you want to start and you're waiting on it to be 100% foolproof, 100% perfect before you launch that into the world, you are never going to launch it. If you're 75, 80% done and you're like, I feel good about the foundation, do I have all the details worked out? No. Launch it, try it, because you are going to learn. There is nothing that you can write down on paper that gives you the experience of just starting something and listening to feedback, pivoting when you need to. I think one of the biggest things there's so many things I did wrong, but one of the biggest things I think I did right when I started was pivoting, was like listening to my customer base, like from meal prep to grab and go. We didn't have smoothies. We added smoothies and now it's one of the biggest parts of our business. Like if I would have just been so pigeonholed and like, nope, not doing that, not doing that, not doing that, I truly don't think we would be where we are today. I think growth a lot of times just requires a lot of change, and like you're going to have different like chapters of your business. So starting A, because if you don't start, you're never going to finish. So starting it A, and then letting yourself fail. And I say fail, but really it's just, out of every little failure I had, I grew so much. And so did my business, because I learned something. When you learn something, it's just not a failure. You can just apply it to the next thing the next little avenue you take it down.
Such great advice. And to your point of like hearing inspirational things on another podcast, I saw on Instagram yesterday a little quote that was like, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever does. And I was
It's
like,
so true. Like
it's
if
like
you,
exactly what you're saying.
yeah, it really is. I mean, there are probably so many little ideas floating around that people are just like, if I get the chance to take it to the next level, then I'll launch it. But it's like, no, if you don't launch it, then you're never going to do that, because it probably is a little seed of doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's coming up for Tastiest Fit? What should everyone be on the lookout for?
I mean, so we launched this vegan soft serve last year, which was so
Mm,
huge. And it was like such a feat to get it to us. It was, if I could tell you all the things that we had to do to get this to our store, it was wild. I almost gave up, but I didn't. And
yay.
now it's been it's been really good for our store. It's been awesome. It's been such a, amazing thing that kids who have allergies and they're like never get to go. Like we've had moms like in tears, like I
Oh,
never get to take her to ice cream because she can't go anywhere. And like, this is so exciting for her. And I'm like,
yeah.
like that's what you do it for. But with the new season, we're about to relaunch like all of our soups and fall
Mm.
stuff, which I'm so excited about. And yeah, we're smooth sailing. Knock on wood. Shouldn't have said that. We're and if you say that, then
Yeah.
something's gonna happen. But no, we're doing great, and the store's doing incredible, and I'm so proud of our team, and we're just continuing to grow and grow, and there's nothing more that I could ask for.
So exciting. Okay, I've got a couple of final questions and some rapid fire, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
This one maybe is a silly question considering the origin story of Tasty's Fit, but what's your favorite workout?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard for me. Do I have to have
Or a
one?
few. A few is
I
fine.
love everything. I am so bizarre like that. I love running, and I really do love the megaformer, though. It's probably the thing I feel like it's just something my body just feels really good doing. I've recently gotten into weightlifting in the past like 2 years, and it's just done wonders for my body and strength and stuff like that too. So I feel like I need weightlifting.
Hmm.
But my favorite is probably the megaformer.
Yeah. And this is actually probably a cruel question for you, but what's your favorite food? You can pick more than one.
Okay, yeah, I'm like that. People ask me that all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. I cannot pick. It depends on my mood. It depends on the time of day. Um, this sounds also crazy, but I love a good bowl, like a cold and warm bowl. I just think there's
Mm.
like nothing better with like all the toppings and just like the best sauce and the best dressing and all the vegetables. I know that's so boring, but I love a good bowl.
It's not boring at all. And you're just reminding me, I could literally drink that like special sauce dressing, whatever the peanut sauce
Oh,
is
yes. Oh my gosh.
in
It
the
is so,
store.
yes, it's so good. We put that on a lot of salads because people love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm the crazy person who was messaging your store account like every week during COVID. Do you guys have more of the sauce in the fridge? Do you have the sauce again
Probably,
yet?
we
I
probably
would
put it
buy
in.
like five at a time.
Yeah, that's so funny. Whenever people do that, I'm like, put it on the menu.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay. And then any new wellnessy products, classes, things that you're into lately that we should check out?
I mean, I'm pregnant, so that's very limiting to the things that I
Yeah.
typically love, to do and stuff. Like I love microneedling, but you can't do that pregnant. But I just think it's such an incredible, non-invasive, Botox way to produce collagen in your skin, and it's just so good for your skin. So I love that when I'm not pregnant. But when I am, I have been really into like in the morning, like sticking my face in a bowl of ice. I just think it is incredible for inflammation. Obviously, the ice roller, I do all that too when I don't have time.
Hmm.
But it's just so good for your skin to wake up your skin, and just I've noticed such benefits in like inflammation when you just start your day like that. So I've been loving that. I have been gouacheing and dry brushing. So like all of that stuff together, I feel like I've noticed such a difference in just like my lymphatic system, basically, which can get real thrown off when you're pregnant. So all of those things I feel like are just really cheap, non-invasive ways and things you can add into your routine without spending a bunch of money.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can get those on Amazon. I mean, not too
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah. A little ice water, free.
yeah, exactly. Great tip. All right, rapid fire. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, morning or evening workout?
Morning.
Running or walking?
Running.
Lifting or body weight?
I love I probably prefer body weight, but I enjoy lifting too.
It's fair. These ones are hard. So,
Yeah, I'm like both. I don't know.
indoor or outdoor workouts?
Okay, my gym where I weightlift is indoor outdoor, and I'm obsessed with it. So I'm
Fun.
circling both.
Yeah. Juice or smoothie?
Smoothie,
Coffee or matcha?
coffee.
Salad or bowl?
My salads tend to be like bowls, so I'm just gonna say my salads.
Yeah. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Tacos or quesadilla?
Oh my gosh. Am I making this myself? Then
Sure.
okay, then quesadilla.
And then early riser or night owl?
Early riser.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you again so much, Emily, for coming on the show today. It was so
This is so
fun.
great. How long have you been doing this?
The show launched in June, I think.
You
So,
did an incredible job. I'm so impressed.
well, thank you. That is very sweet. You made it super easy. So, for everyone listening, definitely let them know where they can follow along if they're in Columbia or driving through, where they can grab some of your tasty food.
Absolutely. So mine is at Tastiest Fit, and that's just more of my like personal life. When I'm testing my workouts, kind of everything. And then we have a store Instagram that's at tastiestfit_eats. And that's where you can get all the details for the store, everything that we're serving that week. Message the store, and me or my manager will, answer that. And my website, tastiestfit.com, you can find all of the recipes. So, or like 95% of them. Some of them we keep sacred to the store, but about 95% we post. So, yeah, if you're craving something good, check it out.
Perfect. Would highly recommend to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.